Jonathan Montgomery with Civic Center TV at the 2026 Black Expo. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today?
I am Alvita Johnson from Maintaining the Mission.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what you do.
We have a nonprofit organization that serves the community. A lot of us, we assist like people in transit, teenagers, and younger children with workshops to help them encourage themselves to do better and to help them grow.
Nice, nice. So explain a little bit of the workshops that you may have for somebody who is interested in what you're doing.
So we do, what am I going to call it? Vision boards. Vision boards. We ask them, what do they see themselves in the future? Where do they see themselves 5 to 10 years from now? And so a lot of the kids get very excited because it's vision board and making collages, but they want to better themselves, and we want to show them that they can do it early on.
And how and as you're doing that with the vision boards, because that was something I learned too, because when I was younger, I didn't have the really outlets to be like, what do I want to do in 5 years? I didn't know. And so with these, our kids, do you feel like kids and some of these teenagers are discovering more about themselves through this?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like we had a young lady who wanted to get off into crocheting, and so we brought her into a workshop. We had a crochet workshop, so now she's making clothes and items and things like that. So she can become an entrepreneur just by that alone.
And I think that's the beautiful thing. A lot of times it's like we kind of stick to the main things that we see and know, as far as like maybe it's an athlete or maybe it's a musical artist or maybe it's something else, And sometimes it's just the simple things, about expressing yourself, especially with crocheting. My mother crochets, and like that's something that she loves to do. So it's beautiful that, Maintaining the Mission is doing this for teenagers and students and things like that. The other question I want to ask is that, do you feel like, this is something that that can be for not just kids. Is this for kids in the inner city, or is this just for anybody who wants to do it?
We provide service for children all over Michigan. All over Michigan.
Beautiful. So in that, do you feel like a lot of kids are just rediscovering, what it means to be, in business and in entrepreneurship as a, just as growing up, and, how can I say, growing up and just being African American, the vision is not always there for success and other things unless you're working for somebody else. So do you feel like kids are more encouraged to go out and become entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. They look at the collectiveness of being together with other young people and being on one accord. Like someone shows them how to bake and how to make banana pudding and how to make cookies and how to make t-shirts. So collaborating together is very, very positive for the children. They get to share ideas with each other and brainstorm from each other.
Yeah, and I love that, because sometimes it's like you may have an idea and you may have something you're thinking about, but it's like it always takes somebody else to input that, and you're just building that community. And as we can see here, I see all the kids, just like at the different events, and you said like baking too and cooking. A lot of times it's like sometimes I feel like, in our generation, we might be losing recipes, It might be some things that are gone. So I love how they have those outlets to do that, because sometimes it's not outlets, especially the way we cook food. It's not outlets for that. So I think that's so beautiful that you're able to, if you want to make banana pudding, because I don't know how to make banana pudding. My mama still make my banana pudding. So, it's still like, I'm still, relying on her. But I think it's so good because then it's like, that history and that culture, and how important do you feel like that is to continue to pass that down to every generation so we don't lose those things?
It's very important, and as my grandmother used to, I learned how to cook homemade macaroni and cheese at 10 years old. So you were in the kitchen and you were cooking, and we didn't have video games, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones, so you were very active, learning how to garden and things like that when I was a kid. So now we even put in someone that does gardening, and we do farm to table events for the kids. So it's a lot that we can still continue to teach our children. We just have to be willing to teach them because they're willing to learn.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I do notice a lot. They say our generation is like we're unfocused, or we're always on our phones and things like that. But it's like when you have those outlets, you do see that these kids want to learn that. They want to do that. I got the opportunity, I think I was like 20 years old, to do my first garden. Did tomatoes, I did like other little things, and I loved it. And I always talk about that because it's like, it's so good to have, food that you can grow yourself. And know that you can do it. And I love that these kids are being encouraged to do their own and make their own. They're not waiting for somebody else to go do it for them. Because when you get that understanding of this is what I made, this is what I can do, it's nothing you can't do after that. You plant a seed, you grow it, it's just amazing. And I love how you're planting seeds in these kids and these children and these teenagers too, to know that, the world is not as small as they think it is. It's not just a box that they think that they have to put themselves in. So much more that they can do. I thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you. I appreciate it so
I
much.
appreciate you, John.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
So that is Alvita Johnson with Maintaining the Mission. And you can see her and others like her at the 2026 Black Expo. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jonathan Montgomery.